What's going on, everybody? C4 here. I'm still very sick, but it's time to be hype as the Philadelphia Eagles, the 6-1 Philadelphia Eagles, get ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers, who are 0-6 as they're coming to Lincoln Financial Field, just coming off a whooping from the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys flexed their muscles a little bit. I mean, let's be honest, the Cowboys still don't look like they're really contenders, but I'm not counting them out. Philly plays Dallas after the bye, and it's going to be a very competitive matchup depending on, even without Ezekiel Elliott, they should be fine with that offensive line. But we saw what Dallas did against 0-6 Niners, and I really do feel that pretty much a lot of the fan base is going to be disappointed the Philadelphia Eagles don't put on a show like that. They don't stomp them like they should. We're 6-1. People are saying we're the best team in the NFL. It's time to show we're the best team in the NFL going up against a winless 49ers team. So here, we're going to jump into the top 10 things to keep an eye on for this game, 10 matchups, 10 keys to victory, different varying topics that I think all Philadelphia Eagle fans should know as we enter into this game. So first and foremost, number 10 is Michael Kendrick should be back. I'm recording this on Thursday night, and right now he was full in practice, which is going to be massive because it's going to give us a look at the linebackers for the rest of the season. I don't know if the Philadelphia Eagles are going to look at signing a free agent linebacker, maybe Jelani Jenkins I've been talking about because he's, Florida Gator, was really good at Florida. But right now it looks like they're probably going to do Kendricks and Nigel Bradham, and with how both of them have played this season, that is a very capable linebacking core for this team not to really be exposed there. We saw against the Washington Redskins, Jordan Reed was able to expose Najee Good and Joe Walker. That's not really going to happen with Michael Kendricks. Michael Kendricks has, back before he got his big contract as a young Eagle on that rookie deal, he was one of the better cover linebackers in football because of his athleticism. And with how well he's played this year, there's no reason to doubt that he can't return to being that solid cover linebacker that we need him to be, because that's what Jordan Hicks was. Jordan Hicks, in my opinion, is a top 5 cover linebacker in the NFL when he's healthy. He's no longer there. We need to fill that. I know Jim Schwartz in his press conference said we're going to have a linebacker by committee. I assume that they're not going to straight up run out the nickel like they did last year with only 2 linebackers on the field. But yeah, Najee Good is not very good. Joe Walker is good against the run. That's about it. He's more of a special teamer. And I don't really know what the hesitation is on Camu Grugier-Hill with how athletic he is. He's pretty much like a money backer. He's smaller than some of the starting safeties in the NFL. I don't know why you wouldn't have him out there as a pure cover guy that could kind of help out. But maybe they're going to try to get him some more stats. Because he's a big hitter, man. He's one of the best special teamers we have. He's going to have a much bigger role with Chris Maragos being out. But, yeah, this is going to give us a good taste of what our linebackers should look like for the remainder of the season. And hopefully they get started on the right foot against a fairly weak 49er offense. Going to number 9 is I do not want to see them rush Ronald Darby back. In my opinion, they should hold him out until after the bye week for that Dallas Cowboy game. I think we're in Dallas, but that's going to be a big game. We have Denver next week. Denver's offense is not too worrying, not worrying enough that I think that we need to have Darby for that game. Trial by fire. We could certainly lose that game. We could certainly lose this game against the 49ers. I'm going to talk about that in just a little bit. But I still think it's best case. We saw what happened when they rushed Jordan Hicks back from injury. He re-aggravated his ankle or Achilles or whatever, and maybe he was overcompensating. He wasn't planting his feet naturally because he was trying to mitigate the pain, and it worked. I'm not going to come out and say Philadelphia rushed him back, and that's the reason why he got hurt. Jordan Hicks, has been injury prone ever since he's been in the league. But I think with Ronald Darby, with how our corners are playing, with how Patrick Robinson is still like the #1 pro football focused corner, and he's actually playing really good. A lot of people kind of want to dismiss the pro football focus ratings, and I do sometimes, especially when you see like Carson Wentz goes for 5 touchdowns and he's like the 12th ranked quarterback, but he's playing well, man. There's not one thing about Patrick Robinson's game where I'm going, maybe the fact that he doesn't have like 3 or 4 interceptions by this point. He's had a couple that have gone through his hands. That's probably the only thing you can hold against him. And Rasul Douglas is playing almost as good as any rookie corner in football. I'm not coming out and saying Rasul Douglas is, he's some guy that needs to be considered for defensive rookie of the year or anything like that. But you look at the other corners, they'll get Garyon Conley, limited snaps. I don't even know how much he's played. Really, every rookie corner outside of Tre'Davious White, Rasul Douglas, his play and stats is pretty comparable. Just off the top of my head from what I've been able to see. Like, I think Lattimore only has one interception and stuff like that. So I think our secondary is fine enough that we don't rush Rasul Douglas till he's 100%. And, maybe that'll just be next week. Maybe we don't need to hold him up to the bye. Maybe that'll be next week. But I think, you cannot. We've seen what happens when we put guys in, maybe before they're too ready in Jordan Hicks. We can't have that happen with Darby because he's going to be very crucial for us to help mitigate the loss of Jordan Hicks. We'll have to run different schemes, and the better corners we have out there, the better. Going to number 8 is can and will Alshon Jeffery finally have this breakout game? I thought it was going to be last week against the Josh Norman-less Washington Redskins, and Alshon had, I think, 2 catches for 30-some yards. I will say there was a horrible no call on pass interference that if Alshon Jeffery would have actually been able to have that play, he probably would have had 30-40 more yards. Maybe was able to take that one to the house. It looked like it was pretty cut and dry that if he beat that corner, he would have took it to the house, and the corner literally was ripping his jersey off. I couldn't believe Ed Hockley missed it. I thought Ed Hockley was one of, not the better refs, but not a liability ref, and he was really, really bad. At least in the first half. It felt like the second half, the refs kind of let them play more. But it was a brutal no call on Alshon. His box score might have looked a lot more impressive if that PI didn't happen. But now you're going up against the Niners, and who do they have in the secondary? They have no one in that secondary that should be able to shut down Alshon Jeffery. It's just more so, how's the game script going to go? They're going to want to try to feed the ball into Alshon or not. What is positive is that Alshon Jeffery does not seem to have an attitude whatsoever. He seems to be a team player through and through, and understanding that his importance on the field is letting other guys get open. He's letting Mack get touchdowns. He's letting Nestlin Aguilar and Zach Ertz have career years. And that is exactly what I want to see, and I don't think the Philadelphia Eagles are undervaluing the value that he brings. Undervaluing the value, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I really do think that Alshon Jeffery should be a priority when it comes to re-signing him this offseason, whereas his stats may not lead you to believe that should be the case. But yeah, hopefully he can have his breakout game here against San Francisco. Going to number 7 is, I firmly believe, as a fantasy football owner of Carlos Hyde, and who has one of my best buddies is a Niner fan, so I've watched an unhealthy amount of Niner games this year. If you stop Carlos Hyde, you're going to stop this offense. It's either they're going to Carlos Hyde or they're going to have the deep ball to Marquise Goodwin. I think, maybe they can have Goodwin on the deep ball 1 or 2 times. That could be unfortunate. They got that against Dallas. But if you stop Carlos Hyde, you're really going to control that game. I'm putting Carlos Hyde on my bench this week because of the Eagles' defense, their front 4 alone. They are the best run-stopping defense in the NFL. Screw the Denver Broncos. Philly is number 1. You cannot run on this Eagles team. And really, last week against the Redskins, Fat Rob had a couple decent runs, but the only rushing yards they were getting is when Kirk Cousins would get our defense to bite on the play action, and he'd hold on and scamper for 5-10 yards or something like that. Other than that, man, this Eagles defense is built to stop guys like Carlos Hyde. And as long as, because Carlos Hyde can't get involved in the passing game, as long as we're good at tackling, our tackling mechanics are fine, and we can tackle Carlos Hyde outside of the tackle box, we should be fine. We should be fine, but should be. I'm not saying that we would be. The worst thing, all right, we're going to talk about it in a little bit. It's a big point. It's right. Actually, the next point, number 6. We have 1 year of success this year, starting from the beginning to right now. Right now, this team has done absolutely nothing. They have no history proving that the games we should win, we will win. So, right now, I'm not going to say this is an outright trap game. Maybe if it was in San Francisco, we had to travel across country, I may throw the trap game tag on it. But right now, it's home at Lincoln Financial Field. We're going up against an winless team that's not looking really good on either facet of the ball. So the one thing is, don't overlook the Niners. Don't act like, we'll get the win this week because we saw what Dallas did, and now we have Denver, which is, they don't have a good offense, but they have one of the best defenses, yada, yada, yada. You cannot overlook any team right now, and I really like the approach of the Eagles right now, as everyone in the press conference and stuff is taking it by a week-by-week approach, and I strongly encourage all Philadelphia Eagle fans to have that. I hate seeing it on Twitter. It's like, all right, so we're going to be 7-1, and then, people are already looking after the bye kind of thing, looking for Dallas after the bye. We really need to take this week by week because there's no history right now. History for this Philadelphia Eagles team, we're slow starters. We looked terrible in the first half. The refs kind of sucked, but we looked terrible in the first half for the most part against the Washington Redskins. If you start out like that against any team, there might be an opportunity. If they can execute, the 49ers could get up to like a 17-0 lead or something like that crazy at halftime. So I just feel that going up against San Francisco, where they have nothing to lose, everything to gain, it could be something that I hope this team, and I don't have any feeling, any sense of oversight from this team right now. Everyone seems to be on the same page that it's a new game every week, new season every week. But for the more so the fans, the people that talk to me constantly on Twitter, the people that are going to comment in this thing, don't overlook the Niners. Oh, I'm sick. All right, going to number 5 is the San Francisco 49ers O-line is struggling, and with a rookie at the quarterback spot, Philly should be blitzing heavy. Our man-to-man corners, from a matchup standpoint, should be able, for the most part, to line up, and match what the 49ers have wide. Pierre Garçon is not 100%. He probably will play in this game, but he's not going to be 100%. So outside of Marquise Goodwin's speed, there's not a whole lot that I'm really afraid of, so that we could bring the blitz and have our guys man-to-man on the outside and feel comfortable that we should continue to blitz. I think Dallas got like 6 sacks or something like that last week, and Dallas's edge rush, Dallas's pass rush, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is having an outstanding year. But outside of that, they aren't really even comparable to what we have with the Philadelphia Eagles. So I definitely think that it should be a blitz heavy, put that rookie QB under pressure, and force him to make some mistakes. Goal number 4 is continue to get Mack Hollins snaps. It's pretty clear that Torrey Smith won't be back next season. Everyone said there's pretty much an option where they could decline it. There's no way Torrey Smith should get, I think, like $4 or $5 million or something like that next year. He's not really that good. He's had the worst hands on the team. So we saw Mack Hollins get a 64-yard touchdown. I think you need to continue to have him out there on the field. Him and Aguilar right now, I'd say, are the 2 wide receivers I would prioritize above all getting snaps, because there's a chance we might not bring back Jeffery, and the only 2 wide receivers that have a clear future next season and beyond with the Philadelphia Eagles are Nelson Aguilar, keeping him in the slot, and Mack Hollins. So personally, if I was the coach, I would bump Torrey Smith down 1, have him be our wide receiver 4, and have Mack Hollins be our other outside wide receiver opposed from Jeffery. Mack Hollins, every time they've called upon Mack Hollins' number, he's made a play. He doesn't have any drops, and he's a ferocious runner with the ball in his hands. As we remember from our preseason game against the Green Bay Packers, one of the nastiest stiff arms you will ever see. So I definitely think Mack Hollins should continue to get more and more snaps with this offense to get more and more comfortable and build that chemistry up with Carson Wentz. Goal number 3 is control the clock. I'm not going to say necessarily we have to run the ball 30+ times, but the Cowboys ran the ball, I think, 35. I know Zeke had almost 30 touches. Just because you want to limit the opportunity that Carson Wentz could get hit. This is the kind of game that we could be 21-0 and Wentz is still in the game, and then something happens. Knock on wood. Not jinxing anything. Something happens. Something happens. Could be Carson Wentz gets a sore throat. Sore throat and can't continue the game. So like that. We'll go with my sick analogy. And I think with establishing that, the 49ers can't really stop the run a whole lot. At least haven't been proven to stop the run in the 2 games that I've really watched them play. One of those was on Thursday night against the Rams, where Todd Gurley had an absolute field day. And then you let Wentz kill them with the play-action pass, which goes into point number 2, is that we saw what Dak Prescott could do. Dak Prescott put up 200+ yards, 4 touchdowns. I think he had 3 passing and 1 rushing. Now it's time for Wentz to pad his stats a little bit. We want Wentz to be an MVP candidate, and this is the kind of day where Wentz could, what's he sitting at 17 touchdowns? If he can get up into 20, that would be a great day statistically. Obviously, I want the win first and foremost. If they want to run the ball 45 times and have Wentz only throw it 15 for maybe a touchdown, that is very well fine. But, if beggars could be choosers as well, I would like Carson Wentz to go off and have a very nice day to continue to build to the MVP hype. And last but not least, the Niners do have a solid defensive line. It's a big test for Big V, taking over for Jason Peters. Looks like Big V is going to be starting at left tackle, and they're keeping Lane Johnson at right tackle. So now it's time for Big V to prove that he's serviceable against the second-tier edge rushers. That's no real shot at, the DeForest Buckners, the Elvis Dumervilles, the Eric Armsteads, guys like that he's going to come up and face against. But, they're not Khalil Mack. They're not Von Miller, who we're going to see in 2 weeks' time. We need to see Big V if he can hold his own against guys that he should be able to hold his own against. He doesn't need to become this Pro Bowler, this absolute stud that, oh man, we don't need to draft a tackle after, whatever happens with Jason Peters in the future because we have Big V. He doesn't need to show that. He just needs to not be a liability, not be a turnstile. And what I've seen so far from the limited game action that he's had over the past 2 seasons is he's not really a turnstile unless he's going up against elite competition where then you need to have like a Brent Selleck or something like that help him out. So yeah, it's going to be a good test, a good opening test for Big V to start. It's the beginning. He's our new starting left tackle, and he's going up against a defensive line that he should be able to make some plays against. MVP prediction for this game is going to be Carson Wentz for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm expecting, I'm going to say 3 touchdowns. I'm expecting 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, somewhere in that ballpark, similar to what Dak Prescott put out. And there you go, guys. That is the 10 things for the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the San Francisco 49ers at Lincoln Financial Field. Let me know what you guys think about this game in the comment section below. If this is your first time stopping by and you're an Eagles fan or you're just a fan of any other team, don't be afraid of that subscribe button. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out and fly, Eagles, fly.